Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to what's promising to be another exciting season of AEL Rocket League. It's season 3 on the year, term 3, if you want to go for what stage of the school year we are at. And this season is promising to be even bigger and better than ever. My name, of course, is Max Von Neumann. You can see down below at Formal Casting. Joining me, though, is the high school regular, Matt Tinsley, JR Tins. How keen are we for today?
I'm so keen to get started. We have 18 teams across 12 schools, which if you were here back at the beginning, we had 4 teams, and now we're at this stage here. It's just so good to see this competition grow for the first year that it's been a part of AEL, and I'm absolutely excited to see how the season turns out.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one for sure. As mentioned, 18 teams. We've divided them into 6 groups, and they're going to be competing for a relatively large prize. I believe it's $5,400 worth of $5,600 of retail price, competing for those ViewSonic ViewBoards for their school. So it's a pretty hefty prize that you can be going for. Of course, none of this would not be possible without, the wonderful people who help support this event. ViewSonic, obviously, for help providing that prize pool. Chatime being a constant supporter of AEL, along with AOC, Indomie, and RIG. A big thank you to all of them for allowing us to continue to promote and sort of participate in high school esports.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to have them around, and I've really started to get involved with some of these brands as well. Chatime actually started having it a lot now that I've had my first taste of it, so it's actually amazing to see these sponsors be able to really bring together a competition that everyone can compete in and enjoy.
Yeah, it has been a blast, and on that note, I think it's time we blast off, and that's going to be the worst pun you get from me, because SMCC, our defending champs, are going to be heading onto the pitch first, taking on Irfan, a new school to the scene, and I'm going to be super excited to see how these two are kind of going to play out against each other.
Exactly right. I'm very interested because we have got the returning champs. Mozzie was able to take away the championship. One of the players that I really enjoyed watching as well, so we'll get to see them on the pitch going yet again in this best of 5, and looks like we're going to be starting out with a really good game. We have got a few returning champions that will be joining the stream today, but we are starting out this one with SMCC.
As we already see our defending champs trying to show off a little bit, going for an early reset to try and drive that ball across the middle of the pitch. Won't be able to get too much forward, and Irfan, I do believe they're going to be willing to sort of, I suppose, play the aggressors if those opportunities arise. Now, they will be the underdogs in this game if we're going based off sort of, your solo queue records, how you're doing in ranked. The higher ranking side is the blue side. However, on the pitch, sometimes that doesn't mean anything.
Not at all, and it definitely can be with how you play with your team. Sometimes team chemistry can overcome those solo rankings that we were talking about before, but I do want to give a quick mention because I have had a talk with Mozzie, and they've been telling me that in the off-season, individually, they're putting in a lot of work, really trying to climb those ranks, getting into those Grand Champ level, High Champ 3, if you do know the rankings in Rocket League. That is pretty high and such a hefty task to reach. So it's great to see these players really eager to compete and putting in that work in the offseason. Yeah,
putting in that work, and again, continuing to maintain that team synergy, which actually helped SMCC get themselves that victory last season. So it feels like, yes, we can always talk about how, ranks don't mean anything until you get on the pitch, but even when you look at the other intangibles, everything is sort of pointing towards an SMCC being a more favored team. However, minute and a half into this game, it's been pretty back and forth, actually. Credit to Irfan in this one. They have been finding some opportunities. Nothing able to follow through completely yet, but they're not afraid to challenge.
Yeah, it really seems like they're going at each other, really trying to feel out their opponents, see what kind of level they're going to be playing at. And this is great because Irfan, this might be a lot of time, the first time a lot of these players are getting on the, the big screen for the first time. So they're holding up, doesn't seem to be too nervous, and I'm really hoping we can see a close series pushing this one out as they're trying to get a play off the backboard here, starting that offensive attack as RX might have a few shots there and has one on target. First goal of the tournament going for Irfan.
Yeah, and it just comes from a weird challenge right there. I actually thought we were going to be seeing Irfan look to challenge the backboard a little bit more, but because of that 50, the ball kind of dribbled into the middle of the pitch, and I'm a bit surprised that SMCC didn't have another defender kind of rotating through that back corner to be there to challenge. It turned into a wide open shot for RX in that situation, and they're going to capitalize. So Irfan up 1-0.
Yeah, and it's a huge thing that we talked about, especially in the last season, is backboard defense gets really crucial in these games, as it's not really defended that well. So if you can start to really predict for that on offense, look for that backboard infield passes, as well as on defense, needs to be some form of capitalization that you're starting to look at as the season goes on, as now SMC might have an opportunity here. Mozzie in the corner will backflip those, so RX will be able to clear that one out, but a good rotation there. Potato with a shot in field, actually a great pass and even better placement to tie the game.
You know how sometimes when you just see the pass and you know this one's going to be good? That was so perfectly placed for Markiplier right there, and a player of this caliber can put that ball anywhere they want to when it's set up on a tee like that. Fantastic pass and shot to equalize this game.
Yeah, you see passes like that, and you're almost wishing before it actually happens that it gets rewarded, because you've got to reward your teammates for really good looks like that. And looks like they're starting to get on that attacking foot here, as another attack coming out here, using that backboard yet again, but this time it will be cleared out into midfield. And 2 minutes to go, 1-1. We might be in for a very close series here, as Mozzie just missing the counter attack. It's off the backboard yet again. He's up for it, but it is going to be played aside. Couldn't quite put that one away. And now SMC will be looking to clear it.
Yeah, so you watch Markiplier kind of dribble that ball across the middle of the field. Ran into a little bit of traffic, though, and I really like how far forward Irfan has kind of been playing. When in that midfield, they're always kind of staying just above it, and that's where they tend to be looking for their first challenge. And that's why, because if they don't look for that first challenge there, Markiplier is just going to drive it straight down the middle and punish them for it. What just happened?
I'm not too sure, but it just seems like everyone thought that the other person was going to be the one to save that one. All of them just letting it roll past is not what you want to see. Maybe the nerves we talked about earlier, but it is very crucial when you have that heavy midfield challenge game. When you stop midfield challenging, your teammates are going to be wondering whose turn is it to go for it now. As you can see, they were just caught a little bit awkward in defense, and SMC getting rewarded with a shot on the board. Now Mozzie looking to get a third one, but couldn't quite. Will be cleared out to the side.
This game has been pretty interesting. If we take a look at our 3 goals thus far, we had, sort of an awkward challenge that Ifran was able to capitalize on. We had the beautiful pass play from SMCC, and now we're seeing fakes and we're seeing solo dribbles straight down the middle finding success as well for SMCC. So definitely when we're sort of looking at which team has had more control on their attacks, SMCC has been the case, as they're going to find another ball just bounce right into the net here. A situation where Ifran had pressed too far forward.
Yeah, and a really nice pinch going out to the center. Mozzie just getting gifted with that one, but Mozzie also being one of the lead goal scorers from last season as well. So good to see them back on top of the board. And 3 goals to 1 here. SMC definitely showing that they've got that little bit of experience in here. They might be taking this first game unless they can counteract. Actually, a really nice beat in midfield. Might lead to an open net, and they are going to put that one away. They're still in this. 1 goal down.
Yeah, that was a great beat right there by Dabon Kafar. Able to find Master Abdullah as well across the middle. That's a fantastic individual effort, I have to admit. And from a team with nothing to lose, I appreciate how they were throwing everything at it. It's one of those cases where it pays off just because of, again, that late touch. It was a fantastic solo play.
Exactly right, and I really think the aggression is the way to go in this game. You talk about how they've been playing that midfield challenge and just getting on the ball early, not really giving space in the midfield. It's definitely working for both teams, as Mozzie trying for another fake yet again. Will be high off the backboard. Don't think too many people will be able to get to that one. Potato is going to beat it into the midfield, into the corner here. RX fighting with Mozzie for the corner boost. Not quite sure who ended up getting it, but Marky Pillar will be there to put that one on target. Just going to roll through. And now Master trying to get the clear, actually. Backflips, 8 seconds to go here. They need to get on the fence right now, but it is going to be a great defensive stop. That early challenge we talked about will stop that counter attack, and with that ball will actually keep up. Mozzie keen to get maybe one more on the board before this one is over. Played off the back. Potato couldn't quite get there. Ball touches the ground, and SMC will take the first game.
That's a fantastic opening for SMCC. A little bit of a shaky start initially, but they're able to bounce back. And again, when you look at their goals, until that last goal from Irfan, it really felt like theirs were a lot more set up, a lot more in control. They were playing better around each other when on the attack. Irfan, while they were content to throw aggression at them, and did find some successes in doing that, it also did lead to sometimes some breakdowns in rotations. In particular, SMCC's third goal was a nice example of that, where just one pinch was able to get behind everyone, and then Mozzie was just able to follow that up. So I think it's a tough situation. It's a tough ask right now from our fan. It's like, do more of those really good solo plays. Trust, they're easy enough. But that really seemed to be where they were finding the most success, when they were just able to do something individually that caught their opponents off guard. So it might turn into one of those games where you got to break out those Mech Monkey skills and really show what you can do with terms of car and ball control.
Yeah, but it is a great way to kind of go about it. If you come in thinking that you're the underdogs, why not fully center the ball, play aggressive, because that's what's going to throw off SMC. And if you're going to have a chance of beating this team, that's what you need to do. You need to start getting a little bit dirty, start to get those demos, start to really apply the offense, because if you give this team time in the midfield, they are going to pull off those solo plays that we've seen plenty of times. This time, a good challenge by Kafar to keep that ball in the corner here, but no one quite challenging like we've seen before. And Archipelago actually going for a fair few pinches here to try and clear the ball downfield, and I'm actually loving that strategy so far off the backboard, but no one quite there to follow.
Yeah, as we do see a situation with Markiplier, gonna try and throw it across. Not the real Markiplier, I might add. The real Markiplier lives elsewhere, but, you know, still in this matchup as P Potato. Do you think he just wants to be called Potato? Is that what they were going for with that?
I'm gonna assume it's Potato. I'm gonna assume that that's the case. Look, it might even be a typo. We don't know, but that's, I think we're safe going with that.
Well, the Potato is going to keep trying to cross up this defense. Sets up Mozzie, who nearly got the angle. That's okay. Potato will find a second crack at it. A little bit of ball chasing on defense opened the door, and we got a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, it is working really well, and that's the same issue we talked about. Is it seems like the players of Ifrin are really, you know, oh, is it your turn to go? Is it my turn to go? They're in a little bit of confusion with each other. I think they need to make sure their rotations are a little bit cleaner and start to, as we've said, just ball chase. Really start, if you're the first player and you're the next one to challenge, go for the ball, force that challenge, and then they'll start to understand whose turn it is to go. It's because it seems to have been a few times that they've been caught out in midfield and even in their own net because of that.
Yeah, as we watch, you know, another situation where all of our friends actually stuck in the box right now. No one's been able to push forward, and it's just a completely different look so far from our orange side. They're playing a lot less aggressive and not playing to the strengths that we saw them display back in game number 1. Master Abdullah is going to try to get some clear, but P Potato already there. Mozzie's going to redirect for, well, no other reason besides to steal the goal away, I assume. 2-0 lead now in favor of SMCC.
You know, I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time I've seen this from Mozzie as well. When we go, look, I wish we had some form of, you know, statistics of who scored the most goals, that kind of stuff, because I think Mozzie would be at the top for last season. And hey, maybe that's why you're always going to take those goals as they come. It's not called goal stealing at this high of a level. It's called goal securing, is what I like to call it at least. But Mozzie actually getting a save now on Potato. The thing, it's actually turned into an own goal. For Kafar.
A squishy save from his own teammate shot, dishing it out, a perfect pass to the enemy team. I'm not so sure about that one. Look, I understand, you know, trying to steal goals away from teammates and the likes, but when you start giving your opponents points as a result, that's when you need to calm it down ASAP, because those are the little situations that can cost you a lot more than you might initially expect.
Exactly right. I think over the comms maybe was a little bit of, okay, we've taken this a little bit too far now. We've got to calm down. But
oh my!
Actually being defenders, what a fake!
That's not fair. This is just straight up non-fair. The player who is intentionally trolling his own team because he's that confident should not be allowed to get redemption by styling on the entire enemy team. That's not how the movies work. All right, like the Karate Kid wins in the end. It's not the Cobra Kai, whatever. I forgot the name of the other kid in that, but my point still stands. It feels like the 80s villain is the one who's starting to pull away in this game with plays like that as Mozzie gets in yet another.
Yeah, it was actually a great save on net beforehand, as you see right there, but it's just not enough, forcing that double commit. And they're on Sargon here, really looking to start breaking away from a fan, but I completely agree with you there. I don't think you shouldn't reward a play what just happened and then reward that with a highlight play from Mozzie there, but that's how the story is going so far, and they're really trying to keep up that aggression. It just seems like when they get back on defense, they just get caught in their own half and they're not too sure what to do.
Oh, this could be a breakaway though, going the other way, yet it's Mozzie who will be able to fall back and make that save. Still 2 minutes to go in this game, and oh, 2 swings, 2 misses. Master Abdullah desperate to try and slow down the counterattack, puts up a meatball, but that meatball is going to lead to a shot from Markiplier again. Defense is going to put up that save. However, just by playing that patient game, it does seem like SMCC kind of has Irfan read with each and every touch.
Exactly right. They're doing a great job in the midfield of keeping the ball close. When they're not getting challenged, they're not throwing possession away. It's one thing you see really well from SMC, and I would like to see Irfan do that a little bit more. It is really good to work the ball out of your defensive end by keeping it close sometimes, but they're starting to force some double commits, so some long booms downfield might become on target here. RX actually keeping it close, but a good early challenge from Mozzie isn't going to give him the space needed. Might be going for the redirect now in the bottom corner. It's actually just off target, and you know, maybe that's the justice we're seeing there.
I mean, and the counterattack's going to lead to a goal as well. I don't think SMCC were expecting to miss on that shot. They were all in. And when it came off the post, well, all you had to do was just drive it back that other way. Good job on Irfan, you know, still keeping themselves in this game mentally, waiting for those opportunities to strike back. I don't know how many more they're going to get in our final minute, yet if they continue to hunt, there's always going to be a hope and a chance.
Exactly right, and I think this is a great start regardless. You're coming up against the previous winners and you're competing this well with them, so this has to be a great start to the season. One thing I always say about the high school league is I love seeing the improvement from individual players from week 1 all the way through to playoffs, so very nice to see there. They still have a good chance here as Mozzie just puts that one off target. 40 seconds to go. It isn't unwinnable at this point, but SMC just seem to have the ball controlled really well in this game.
Yeah, there's still just been so few opportunities for Irfan in this matchup for the team that's been kind of playing a lot more patient in the second game and kind of waiting for those mistakes. There just haven't been that many, and as we approach our final 20 seconds, I'm feeling like it's pretty safe to say we are going to be seeing SMCC advancing 2-0 in the series, already on match point right now. For as strong as Irfan has been playing, SMCC, they still are the defending champs for a reason, and they are still making sort of every point, every battle, that uphill challenge.
Exactly right, and it's, as said, really nice from Irfan College to come out and compete. They have got another game here today, so hopefully they can move that in. They are down 2-0. They aren't out of the woods just yet, but SMC definitely doing a great job as they take game number 2 here, and we see Mozzie up there with that hat trick of 3 goals. Maybe should have an extra 1 save in there as well for the save on the teammate. But that being said, they do move through. Game 3 here, match point to SMC, and very interested to see how Irfan really looks to challenge in this game, where they look to play more aggressive. They start getting their own head, start to play more passive. We'll be interested to see how their mental really holds up going into this 3rd game.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see that as well, because I want to see more of Game 1 Irfan than what we saw from Game 2 Irfan, when they're willing to play that midfield, when they're willing to get up in their opponent's face, because we know what SMCC can do if given space, how they can sort of attack that ball. And PP Potato already does win 1 challenge. I know it didn't work for Irfan, but I want to see more of that, at least going for the plays. However, there was only 1 challenge in that entire setup, and the end result is an SMCC goal.
Exactly right. Master actually getting faked out there by the fake. So just not being able to get that touch, it's always good to have one person playing for the missed touch, one person playing for the good touch. In that case, both players were playing for the touch that wasn't happening. That way ended up being a nice midfield pass. There is another one coming from Potato off the backboard. Mozzie's up for it early, puts that one away. 2-goal lead already, and SMC coming out firing.
We are not even 30 seconds into our 3rd game, and once more, Irfan find themselves at that 2-point deficit. This has just been an all-out assault so far from SMCC. They're playing so far forward off these kickoffs. They're looking to try and get these quick goals right now. And Irfan's response has been playing a bit further back on defense, but they are getting stuck out in no man's land. This is what they needed to see. Play a little bit further forward, actually, and challenge the setups. Maybe catch out their opponents for being over-aggressive. It's not going to work this time, though, because PP Potato nearly took it back for a perfect pass. Mozzie still staying on that attack. Ball off the backboard, but Master Abdullah will clear it away.
And actually getting some really nice touches into the corner here. Actually beating out 1 defender as well, but it will be a little bit too far, not being able to get that pass on target, but they're not finishing the attack just yet. Actually forcing a triple commit. Net might be open, and they're going to put that one on target. Good placement. Master Abdullah putting that one away.
3 goals now in our first minute, as our third point in this one was very back and forth. If you want to point out where the error was, I think it's quite obvious watching back on that replay. The triple commit, never a good idea in any circumstance, and I will stand by that.
Not at all, especially, look, there's places to triple commit, there's places not you don't want to, but you don't want to in any situation, but you definitely don't want to do it right in front of your net with all 3 players standing out into midfield, waiting for that touch. They are able to put that one away, and they're starting to play a little bit more aggressive. I really just want to go again. They need to send the first player at the ball, and maybe a miss in midfield there.
I've seen some pre-jumps in my day go a little bit awry. That one, I believe it was out of Markiplier. He was halfway up to the ceiling. You know, it was a risk. It was a risk. He took the risk, didn't pay off this time. That's okay.
You see those plays. You see those plays when they work out well in highlights, and if they don't work out, you usually don't see them. So it is one of those high risk, high reward situations. But didn't get on the correct end of that one as they look for the big clear downfield. Kufa able to clear that one away. The pressure building actually on the own backboard there. Luckily they can clear it to the side. Markiplier will be looking for that info pass, and they have started been using the corner rather than the backboard a lot more as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that they're trying to sort of set it up through that corner, and I'd have to actually argue that they've kind of done most of their goals through that corner. Whenever the ball's been able to get themselves behind the defense, it has been through those corner setups or passes across the midfield directly in front of the corner. Those have been the 2 key areas where SMCC have been looking to create those shooting opportunities. What's different now, though, is they're taking it straight from the middle and straight banging it into the corner, where before they're kind of playing along the corridor and rolling it through the corner. And I have to admit, they haven't been finding that same success in this approach. So I kind of like to see them sort of all of a sudden switch them up, and instead of cornering it, sidewall it, go for a pass, and maybe catch the defense off guard in that regards.
Yeah, you definitely see with those high-level plays, there's a pinch off the sidewall. Mozzie actually just going to interrupt and put that one away. Actually, a very nice kind of EU touch into the net there.
So that was the spot. I was looking for the pass back to the middle as I was talking about it, and PP Potato, I think, was thinking that same thing. But again, we need to remember this is Mozzie that we're talking about, who, if there's a chance for him to be the one who scores the goal, well, he's going to take that shot. So the end result is still a 3-1 lead. Again, the setup was what I was looking for. I just expected a pass there instead of the shot on target. And you know what? Irfan was thinking the same thing, and that's how come the goal worked.
Exactly right. And I do want to bring that point up again, is because one thing you definitely see compared to the higher level play and just that lower level is not using the corner as much, really looking to control the ball and look for that straight infield pass rather than off the corner and off the backboard, because it really works at that high levels. But that being said, they're doing a really nice job at just banging it into the corner. They're not trying to play it slow. They're not trying to roll it in. They're going backboard or booming it into the corner, because one thing we know about the corner, and especially what Irfan is having trouble with, is reading the touch. The corner can almost go anywhere. So when you bang it into the corner with that hard, you only have a split second to react, and they're doing a really good job here. Is off the backboard. Mozzie going for a Hail Mary touch there. Couldn't quite get that one on, but they're still keeping possession, as Asodul actually getting really good 50, now looking to get onto that counter-attack.
Yeah, let's see what Mozzie can do from the corner as well. Looking to take it off the ceiling. Swing and a miss. Might open it for Dab on Kafar, who doesn't get the dunk on P Potato. Still, P Potato's going to get another crack at it, and, well, that's a pretty solid goal right there. Banged in, 107 KPH.
Mozzie coming through, absolutely side-swiping the last defender left, giving a wide open shot to Potato. And, you know, Mozzie actually saying, oh, I'll help out here, I'll clear the net, I'll share the goals around. And Mozzie actually getting a really big kickoff win here. What an amazing touch, though, to clear it out.
That almost looked like it was going to fall in, and that would have been a very feels bad moment for Irfan. Still, Markiplier will be able to find their first goal of the game. 5-1 lead.
Yeah, really nice touch there, and they're just getting some goals on the board here, trying to almost add insult to injury at this point. But I do want to see Irfan actually really good moments from this team, just kind of lapses, which for me really go down to either the lack of communication or just the lack of rotation. So I really think that what they've got, they can easily work on this, come back stronger in the next coming weeks or even the next game. But right now, SMC, we've talked about it time and time again, they're showing why they were the winners of the last season, and Markiplier this time putting another one on a lovely redirect from the corner.
there was some juice behind this shot. Only 88 kilometers per hour, but just finding the back corner sweet spot of the car is not something you typically see, and that was put right on target as well. Cheeky little play, something that, you know, as much as I love the Dominus, I don't think that's a Dominus shot. That is an Octane Fennec shot right there. So really well played by Markiplier.
Exactly right. Now, I think looking at the scores right now, they might be really trying to get one more on the board to complete the Brazil, which is, if you don't know too much Rocket League players, that's one of our favorite things to pull off in a game. Is you pull off that Brazil, they got 7 seconds, they might really be trying to get that goal as Mozzie gets to be cleared downfield. Master Abdullah actually going to catch it, plays to the corner, but Mozzie is there waiting. That is going to touch the ground though, 0 seconds, and SMC will take the first win of the tournament, the first win for Stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Continuing right where they left off last season with a pretty dominant showing. They're going to continue that winning streak, starting the season off on that right foot. Now, as mentioned before, there are 18 schools in this league. 18 of them. And from those 18, only 6 are going to be making it to the playoffs. The top 2 of each group of 6, so there's 3 of those. And for SMCC to get that early win, that is massive. And unfortunately for Irfan, they had to go up against the defending champs first. They're kind of put in that position now, like if they want to guarantee a spot in the playoffs, they have to win out. So in some ways, if they want to keep the destiny in their own hands, their playoffs start essentially with their next match.
Exactly right, and it's such a hard thing to do when you've got this kind of group stage. Only a top percentage making it through, this time top 2. There is no room for error. You've already lost to the team that quite arguably are the favorites to go through to that playoff, so you have to convert on almost every single game. You haven't really got that game that doesn't really matter too much. Everything matters here, and I hope that they can really bounce back, learn from that. They've already versed almost what the best team has to offer, so from here, I think they're only looking up.
Yep, that sounds pretty good. That said, we're going to be cutting to a bit of a break right now as we sit tight and wait for our next matchup. It's going to be Hawker College versus Trinity Bay when we return, so don't go too far. When we come back, it'll be time for our second match of the afternoon. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to our first week of Season 3 here at the AEL High School Rocket League. We've got another match around the corner with some familiar faces. We saw our Season 2 champs before. Well, now we're going to go back to our Season 1 champions, actually. So that's a kind of fun dichotomy we got going on, as Hawker is going to be taking on Trinity in what should be, I still feel to be, hopefully, a little bit of a closer match. But at the same time, I also kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit more one-sided, perhaps.
Yeah, still feeling that. But, hey, Walker, they've had a season off. They didn't actually compete last season. So, you know, maybe they've been spending time elsewhere. Maybe they've been spending time still grinding the game. We have got Fruity that'll be joining the team as well. I don't think we got to see too much of that player in the season that they won it all. So it will be very interesting. And I think that it's going to be great seeing Hawker return in the competition and the size that we are at now. As we said, 18 teams, 12 schools, so it is going to be very interesting to see how they compete. Yeah, it is going to be the case as we're going to wait for our teams to come into this matchup. I'm hoping that, you know, we do get ourselves that closer showing than we saw in game number 1. Not that game number 1 wasn't necessarily a close matchup, but it does feel, and it is the case sometimes when you have a wide range of skills in these matches, that some of the teams will shine a bit brighter than others, especially during those early stages. Yet, we talk about how there's 18 teams, and we talked about how, you know, 6 teams in each different group. Well, our first match was from Group A. This match is from Group B. And out of each of those groups, only 2 teams will be advancing to the playoffs. Furthermore, the way how it's currently set up right now, the winning team in Group A and B goes straight to the winner's semifinal, which is a pretty big boost as well. I think this is just because they were kind of scaled a little bit tougher, like in terms of seeding, so there's a little bit of reward for winning in those groups. It's something a bit more to play for, and I do feel that if you want to be that number 1 seed, go straight to that winner semifinal, you really do have to win out. Exactly right, and in plenty of tournaments I've seen this kind of setup where that first team does get benefited, so they should, you know, finishing the top of their group stage. And it is amazing because it's just in the upper bracket, it's one less game that you have to win, and you're one game closer to making that upper bracket run, which means you miss out on so many games in that lower bracket. You get to jump so far ahead. So getting that first place is definitely going to be huge. And in this one, we are in the group stage number 2, I believe. And I know one other team that will be the one to watch out for. So it'll be interesting to see how they go going up against that team. And if you know too much about the Rocket League ranks, we do have a Supersonic legend in this tournament, which will be amazing to see how they compete. If you don't know much about Rocket League ranked, that is the highest rank that you can reach in this game. So I believe in this group, we are going to see a huge battle between that first and second, and even third place, depending on some of the ranks. So this can be the start to it all, and this can be what we see, you know, who out of these teams will start to make those upper group stage pushes. Yeah, it adds further emphasis, I feel, for this matchup in particular, and kind of further exemplifies the point that, yes, there might be a group stage, and you're thinking, okay, well, that means we have the luxury of being able to lose a series or 2. That's really not the case. Like, if you want to go far in this tournament, you kind of need to win everything. And speaking of winning everything, it does look like our players have all joined in, so we will be jumping on to the pitch. One more time, it's going to be Hawker in blue with Trinity in orange. Hawker, our Season 1 champs. Looking for a bit of repeat action. That's going to be Fruity and Ultras. They're going straight in. Where is our other team? They were given the word to go. Waiting for them to join. Hopefully, they get in just in time. I don't think they will. We might have to reschedule this lobby as we look to get started here. We do run into this situation a lot when we come into these kind of games, getting a few of the players organized. You know, this is a few times that these players, this is their first time playing on a stream, this is the first time playing in a competition. So we do run into this a little bit too often, but that being said, it will be a quick reschedule and we can get started. Yeah, so hopefully it won't take too long for us to get back into this matchup. I promise I'm going to do my best not to be a little bit biased in this matchup. I am going to do my best not to be biased for the Hawker side, not just because they're, you know, Season 1 champions, but due to other esports games and activities, I have run into some of their players in other avenues. So it's always fascinating to me. Like, this is a bit of a tangent. I always love seeing how certain players are, like, not only willing to sort of compete in just Rocket League, but, like, they actually throw their hands up and compete in other titles as well. Yeah, exactly right. These are some names that we have seen before. And I want to say that Hawker's side will actually be 2v3ing until their teammate does get back. And one thing I do want to notice, though, they actually won term number 1 well 2v3ing. So maybe this is the strategy. Maybe this is where they play best. Maybe we'll see another 2v3 victory coming out for this Hawker's side. But it is interesting that every time they seem to be on stream, they're always hitting the 2v3.
Yeah, you know what? If you're going to ask for any duo, though, to sort of step up, I think the duo of Fruity and Ultros is probably one of the better ones in this entire tournament. And that's even if you were to give me, like, the whole pool of players to pick from. Like, I would make a strong argument that these two can work very well together. So, yes, it will be a disadvantage. I don't think it's going to be a massive one for them, as we are still kind of waiting for our players to rejoin that lobby. I still am actually... I don't know, does this affect my prediction of them winning this whole series? I don't think it does that much. I'm still actually kind of leaning towards the defending Season 1 champs and Hawker to try to take this.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. So I'll be honest here, my predictions might be a little bit unfair here. I actually have a cheat sheet of the players' ranks, so I can kind of have a look at it, but I'm looking, and Electric Rays, Trinity Bay Electric Rays, their name, they shouldn't be taken too lightly. They have got some decent ranks. They've definitely been playing this game for a while. So it will be interesting to see how they come in. That being said, all the players are good to go, and we can finally get this game started. It's going to be Hawker on the blue as stated before, and Trinity on orange.
Yeah, here we go. Time kicking it down. We are underway. The 2v3 for Hawker, as Ultros already off that kickoff is going to find the opening goal. Takes 4 seconds for the side of 2 to get the first point on the board.
Yeah, and cheating off that kickoff in a 2v3 is actually a huge play, and it plays off really well for them. And it will be interesting to see. I think Fruity and Ultras are definitely players that know how to play twos, and they will have that solid rotation. But at orange side, it means that Trinity needs to start being aggressive, even look to go for the demo play, but overall just making sure you're not getting caught off guard. You have that play back as a shot almost finds back in the corner, but it's just going to be off target.
McAvoy is the name to me that's a bit familiar actually on the Trinity side. I've sort of seen them play before, and not a terrible shot as we just saw right there. I think once this team sort of calms down and gets the rotations in play, watch for Maka to be a bit more of that striker, and well, that time cheated a bit too far forward, and nearly once again we saw all 3 players on the Trinity side across that midfield. The response is a counterattack that turns into a goal. 2-0 lead now for Hawker.
Yeah, Fruity doing a really good job here at hitting up Ultras. The 2-man passing play coming in perfect there, and just all players kind of caught a bit out of position. 2-goal lead already 30 seconds in, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when they manage to get their 3rd player in the lobby and how they'll play here. But Fruity and Ultras doing really good at working around each other. But I'm going to be honest, I'm looking at the ranks right now, and actually Supch, hopefully I'm saying it correctly, actually might be one of the players to watch here. And I also say that because they're rocking the Fennec, and it just seems to me like the best players always wear the Fennec.
Well, at least the most mechanical ones do. I'll agree with you on that. However, I'm actually going to call out Ultras a little bit. All right? I'm based on the car selection, so it still is relevant. Driving the Octane, that's all well and good. That's all meta, whatever. My man drives for AlphaTauri in the Formula 1 league that he's in, okay? Where's that AlphaTauri representation? I only say that because I also drive for AlphaTauri in that same Formula 1 league, and I want to see that representation right now, not this Octane, whatever, NRG. Okay, yeah, that's all well and good. I don't know. Granted, Ultras is not in the same division that I'm in the same league, so maybe less pride, I suppose, but it is what it is.
Maybe a future tournaments we'll try and see if we can get that on stream if they have the Formula 1 car. But hey, hopefully if we see Ultras do really well in this league, does that mean that they may be putting less time into the F1 league? That being said, it doesn't seem like it with 3-goal lead here. And I just want to say the chemistry between Ultras and Fruity, they're just in perfect positions for each other.
Look, say what you want about... Look, I'm looking at this game right now. It's a 2v3. They're up 3-0, looking pretty good. I look at his position in the F1 League, 16th out of 20. I think I know which one he needs to put more hours in. But at the moment, Fruity is going to play that one out the corner. No, I already broke my promise. I said I wasn't going to be biased. And here I am. Yeah, look, here I am, throwing the shade. Now, Fruity will be able to clear that one across midfield. It's interesting, though, because I feel like it's sort of hard not to, when sort of talking about these players and this team, And one of the reasons why Rocket League is such a cool scene overall is because, like, I would argue that both Ultreus and Fruity have made their marks on the Rocket League scene as a whole already through either their gameplay, participation in tournaments in this one or other ones, or even through their sort of content that they put out there. Fruity actually an emerging and quite strong YouTuber as well. It's very interesting to see them, you know, and how they're growing and sort of developing the Rocket League and applying that to skills outside of just the game itself.
Exactly right. And it's so good to see so many new players. I say new players, but at the same time, you're right. They have been in the scene for so long. Ultra has been doing really well in the ODL, as well as outside competing RLCS tournaments as well. Fruity got that content. It is perfect to see that the avenues that Rocket League can lead into, which is why personally, I think this is such an amazing esport and it can go so much further than it already has come. So it is great. You know, we might see a lot of these high school players maybe even break into our uni league later on, maybe start to break into those outside tournaments, into the content avenues. So it is amazing to see. This is what I would call kind of the grassroots of the Rocket League tournaments here. We're in the high school league, and some of these players have already astounded me a tremendous amount.
I have, you know, heard in passing conversation that Ultreus has looked at that uni league and it was like thinking, you know, perhaps in the future, once I go to a university, that could be something that I would want to do. Like, I have heard that train of thought before, as we did see another goal scored by the Hawkers side. Exactly right. And high school is that initial stepping stone, I feel. And especially, you know, for the players who do want to take it, you go for the high school league, then you go to the university league, and sometimes there are certain schools that might eventually offer programs or scholarships based on that play, you know, to represent that university team. We've seen QUT do similar things for the League of Legends in the past as well, which is a different title, but as it becomes more normalized, we'll see more and more of these situations start to grow. I mean, in NA, I'm pretty sure they give out Rocket League scholarships to certain universities, so it's not that far to see like how putting that practice and effort and time in Rocket League is so similar to more traditional sports that there will be a pathway, I feel. And again, it's events like this that will continue to enable those pathways as sub-6. Did we agree before? Sub-6? Either way, that was a evil must-do.
Absolutely amazing. Edward pulled off there and really catching both defenders off guard. I saw them going towards the wall. They picked up that 100 boost. And when you've got that perfect wall position and you just pick up that 100 boost, almost anything is possible in Rocket League. And that's what I love to see, is the creativity coming out with these shots. And that was an amazing air dribble, but Fruity's just going to show that, hey, sometimes fundamentals can work best in a nice 50 into the net.
I mean, that wasn't just fundamentals as well. I mean, okay, well, I guess it was the late sort of underneath dunk, I suppose, just knowing how to win a 50-50. I wasn't sure how much the defender got all of that until we saw the replay right there. It's like, oh, yeah, no, that was just a straight 50, and it's won by the Hawkers side. 5-1 lead, 30 seconds to go. Hawker looking very confident in this 2v3 right now. This is a very strong team, and they're just going to actually look for that Brazil now because they're only one goal away.
Exactly right. And as soon as you get to that one goal away, you know that it is about to be a 7-1 if they can manage to complete it. That being said, if you're Trinity right now, all you're thinking is let's hit the ball, let's get the ball out of there. Let's not let them get to that point. We'll stick with a 7-1. Sorry, the 6-1. But I do want to point out the third player for this Hawker College is Ultras. This couldn't complete the Brazil. And even Ultras is just sitting almost dumbfounded in net going, oh no, I haven't completed it. I do want to say though, the third player here for this Hawker side is waiting in the party to go for this next round. And we will see a 3v3 as Hawker does take game number 1.
Oh, Xenix is going to be joining the fray. You're absolutely correct. So keen to see where we will go from here as we quickly load back in to get ready for our second game. I mean, if 6-1 is the scoreline that happens in a 2v1, what happens when we get to a 3v1? Trinity right now, I feel they are just kind of, for the large part, getting out-mech'd in a lot of situations. Like, a lot of challenges not going their way. We're a little bit slower to the ball at a semi-regular basis. I feel like at this stage, Trinity, in order to get back in this game, I suppose you sort of wait for the mistake, maybe play a bit further back, or do the opposite and get over-aggressive, look for bumps and demos during that setup phase. But it's really hard to find that avenue for Trinity to get back in this game when considering how game 1 went.
Exactly right in that 2v1, but in the 2v3. But I always want to maintain that when you're versing a very mech team that likes to have time on the ball, likes to really work it and keep the ball close, I really like relating it to ones, because in 1v1s, when you come up against a player who's just, if you give them the time and space, they're going to hit that mech shot on you. They're going to be almost unstoppable in the air. There's two things you can really do. You can either stop the attack before it happens, which means you practically never get off the ball. You always send one person to challenge early, make sure they don't have the time and space to even start that attack. Or you can take the other route, which is wait for them to do what they want to do, let them overcommit up the field, and then as soon as you get that option, you pull a quick counterattack onto the other side of the field. So it will be interesting to see if they can kind of understand which avenue they want to go down and really look to start implementing, because that is really the only way I think they're going to look to compete with this team.
Sub-6, though, has been doing a good job keeping up and even finding shots in rough situations. I mean, that all came from an amazing save off this player. And he is one. Yeah, I do have to agree that actually that Hawker does need to be a bit mindful of. I'd like them to sort of spy on Sub-6 a little bit and make sure that whenever Sub-6 has a touch on the ball, there's always at least one member on the Trinity side there to kind of shut down whatever they may want to do with it. We'll see if they're going to be able to partake in that, because for the first minute of this game, they really weren't. Sub-6 was getting a lot of field earnest. That's more what I want to see. Reads like that out of Zenix to try and shut down the star player of the Trinity side.
Yeah, it was a really nice save, but almost ended up being a pass into midfield. That being said, Hawker now really going for those back pass kind of plays, making sure they can maintain possession. If they don't have a shot on net, they're looking for team plays. As Fruity actually trying to pre-jump Ultras in the midfield there. Can't really complete the attack, but Zenix right there to keep that attack going, making sure that they're not going to give possession over too easy. Ultra is up nice and early for this one. Couldn't quite get the read. We're already starting to see those double commits start to happen. We need to see quick counterattacks. Even the third player left. Ultra's putting one away.
That was an awkward read coming from the Trinity side right there. You can see Magic Stud was a little bit out of position, tried to reverse and back themselves into that right spot. But by that stage, it's too late. Not against a defending champion team like Hawker. You cannot afford those little mistakes because you will get punished almost instantly.
Right, and it's the same thing we talked about in that first series, how crucial that infield pass is. Instead of moving the ball through the corner and kind of getting that roll action around or going for the backboard, that straight infield pass play is almost never even readable at this level. So that is perfect pass from Fruity to be able to complete that play. And now it looks like Trinity's starting to get a few back passes, looking to maintain that possession, working out well as Macaboy now has time in the corner, looking to beat out one defender. Good chance by Fruity, and that's just going to go in. That's not what you want to see if you're on the side of Trinity.
Fruity is so good at 50s. If we're going to take anything away from this series, I think it's got to be that. Because every single time one of these challenges happens, Fruity just finds the way to put that ball in the perfect spot. Second time we've seen that out of this player, and once again is another goal for the side of Hawker.
Yeah, well, I've recently been putting a lot of work into 50s, and it's amazing how much 50-50s are an art. Zenix just couldn't quite put that one on. I think had the time and didn't realize, but it is interesting to see how 50s work out in terms of if you delay your attack to let the other person touch the ball first, or it's getting more of a touch on the center of the ball. Like, people don't understand that just challenging the ball has way more of an art form to it. And a few misses out from both teams here. It's in front of the net. Ultra is finally able to get it clear over the Zenix, but Trinity had a good shot to put that one on target. Just couldn't convert.
Yeah, Trinity, I think they're going to be a little upset they couldn't find the goal right there. Pass, though, does not connect. A chance for the counter, but they get in their own way. And amidst the chaos, Sub-6 couldn't quite find the shot they were looking for. Another missed opportunity for Trinity as Ultras just watches the ball sail past the two defenders. It's now a 3-0 lead.
A story as old as time in Rocket League, and overcommit on one end because you get frustrated that you just missed out on the open net or just missed out on the goal, and it immediately turns into a counter-attack goal for the other team. And Sub-6 doing a really good job there, just as you're right, just getting in each other's way, not quite able to put that one away. Maybe, we're in week number 1. Hopefully we can see this kind of weaned its way out and they can start working it together. Maybe a bit more communication coming into the following weeks, but it's an unfortunate start here for this Trinity side.
Yeah, it's definitely not going their way. Again, a reminder, it is currently 1-0 in favor of the Hawker side. Well, there we go, update the scoreboard now. So this is going to make it 2-0 and put Hawker on 2 match point if they can hold on for this final minute. All signs are looking like they're going to be able to do so as Zen just own golden.
Look, at the end of the day, a goal's a goal. I guess doesn't matter what net you're scoring on. But, you know, maybe Zenny's getting a little bit turned around for that 180. Maybe he just wanted to ball their teammate Ultreas. But look, at the end of the day, maybe they're giving the early goal. They're trying to go back for the Brazil. I can't really say much more than that. At the end of the day, that is a no goal. I don't really know what's going on, but maybe it's a bigger mind game at the end of the day.
Well, it looked like Ultreas was trying to make the save there, and it was Zenix who kind of just put it in a weird spot. I have no idea what we just saw right there.
Just trying to bully your teammate. Just trying to bully your teammate.
I guess. Yeah, sometimes you want to just ball him out, I suppose, as Zenix again goes up and can't come down with it. Ultreas looking to throw it somewhere. Fruity actually winds up back passing it, and once again, ball's on that blue side with a Trinity hungry for that goal. They're challenging in front of the net, but no one is just able to put it in.
Yeah, now good pass from Ultreas down to Fruity. Great pass play, but just couldn't quite get that one on target. Zenix overcommits here, and now Subsix has a shot opportunity, but just will backflip back in there for the follow-up. This time, Fruity getting the save. So close, yet so far has been the story for this Trinity side. Just unable to get those shots on target.
Yeah, it was close, but not quite there. Given a little taste of life with a bit of the own goal towards the end of the game, however. I mean, the stats really do tell the story in this one. 3 shots compared to the 8 from Hawker. It really felt like Hawker was in control from start to finish, despite not putting up as many goals as they did during the 2v3.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think they have a really nice foundation for those shots. I think maybe just a little bit of team confusion coming in when it comes to those. We saw a bit of open net opportunities there, just not able to convert. So hopefully the communication can bring its way back in. Subsex definitely has really nice opportunities, but just yet again, the defense way too strong. Every time you put a shot on net, it always seems like there's a blue team member there just looking for the save.
Yeah, that has been, I believe, that reoccurring theme right now. Just better positioning coming from the Hawker side, better understanding of rotation and sort of the pace and tempo of this game. And how could they not have the understanding of the pace and the tempo? They've been the ones setting it. Speaking of which, Ultras going to go for a double, I think, right here. Puts it a bit high, but the fall through from Zenix will make it a 1-0 lead.
Sometimes it's not always the amazing play. It's always just going to be the pass, and that's really nice from Zenix to be in that situation, knowing Subsex caught a little bit awkward in net there, not able to get the save. 20 seconds in, 1 goal already, and yet again, that goal, I think, perfectly demonstrates the rotation and the communication that they kind of have with each other, as well as the pace. They know they've kind of got that advantage in the air, and that seems to be where they're keeping the ball most of the time. There's an opportunity, but Maka actually able to keep it out of safe. Actually ends up falling 2 defenders, but can't quite get it all the way as they do get demoed for their troubles.
Now Ultreas is going to try and ball it back the other way. Just needed that bump and was so close on that reverse wave dash. Unfortunately, couldn't quite find it. Still, Xanax will once again play cleanup duty, and we got a 2-0 game.
Xanax absolutely flying for that one. Actually came out of nowhere from my screen, at least, to put that one away. And that's just really nice. Yet again, pace, going up early for it, making sure to meet that ball before it crosses the bottom of that crossbar. And a nice early shot there as kickoff is heavily won here by Trinity. Might trickle down into the middle, but couldn't quite find it. Subsex left in the midfield. Actually going to buy time here, keep it nice and close. Look for that midfield pass. No one quite there. So we'll follow it up as Ultras looking to challenge in the corner. Zenix just trying to get a touch. Actually, a little bit works out a little bit too hard. Now Fruity on the sidewall here, looking for that play. Couldn't quite complete the air dribble. And with that, ball will still play into the goal square here. Zenix might actually find a 3rd goal, but it will be a counter-attack real quick back. You can't quite get there. Ultras takes it over.
Yeah, just the speed once more kind of bailing Hawker out, and now they might have an opportunity. McAvoy goes for the defensive takeaway from behind. Ball still falls in front of the net, but for the first time, Zenix doesn't get the goal, and we got a Rule 1.
I believe this is one of the first Rule 1s I've seen, and I absolutely love that. Oh no. I don't think Magic actually stuck that one. I think a Trinity member actually pulled out of it. Ultras tried to keep it, and the Rocket League gods did not agree with that one and and Fruity actually got a goal out of it.
Yeah, Ultra's in the chat just in shock that the Rule 1 was broken. Still hasn't moved, might I add, from where the Rule 1 was committed to. Staying in that spot. You know, Trinity, desperate times call from desperate measures, and sometimes they feel the rules have to be broken, but this time, as you mentioned, the Rocket League powers that be decide no, they shall be punished. And now Ultras is going the distance, couldn't quite find that shot. McAvoy holds it, and then, leaves himself in an awkward position for the own goal to happen.
Yeah, Ultra's actually doing a really good job. Read the awkwardness of Maka and just thought, hey, little touch here, might be able to work that out with Maka to be able to put that one away. And I got to be honest, I don't know if you sensed it, but I sensed a little bit of frustration there from Ultra saying, you know what, it's all on now. It is on. Anything goes. We are going to try and dominate. I saw Ultras take possession of that ball and saw the fire in their eyes. They looked to try and score that one.
I feel like this is going to be a spicy game. There might be some spicy discussions following this game as well, particularly. And I would like to remind everyone that this is a friendly competition, as McAvoy is going to get one bull in for the Trinity side. But yes, I would like to remind everyone, hey, we're all friends here. It's a friendly competition. So keep things cool, calm, collected, level heads. 4-1 lead in favor of Trinity, or in favor of Hawker, I should say, as Trinity gets one back.
Definitely right. And that was a very nice goal, playing well with Subsex and Maka doing a really good job playing together. Maka getting a really nice flick into the net. And I think will be one of their first proper goals in this game, discounting the own goal score from Xenix. So good to get that one on the board, and a very nice offensive play as of that, as they look to get it. Oh, actually almost ends up being a pass to Fruity. Ultras getting a touch on that to keep it alive. Fruity going for yet another demo, opening the field for Ultras, but just a little bit too high as that one crossed by out.
Yes, still Trinity is just unable to get this ball out of the box. Xenix goes for the double, doesn't find it from underneath. McAvoy finally able to create some space. The ball makes its way to the blue side of the pitch, and all three members of Trinity are here, but they're unable to keep that pressure on, so it's another quick counterattack for Hawker, one that looks very dangerous. Ultras does not get it through. Credit instead goes to Xenix.
Xenix, it just knows the time and place to be for these goals, working out perfectly, but what a pre-flip from Ultras, almost rewarded with that one, but Xenix there to follow it up. 5-1 lead here, almost just over a minute and a half to go in this game, and this might be the Brazil that we've been waiting for here.
Yeah, we've been wanting it. We've been wanting it. I feel all stream long we've wanted that Brazil scoreline. I mean, this is the best chance I feel like we've had yet, especially if Xenix can get it in, but Magic Stun able to come through with a nice save. Perhaps this will lead to that counterattack, but all three defenders are going for the back corner boost. What? Very fortunate Magic Stun was able to find that out and kind of pull off, but that was a scary look for a brief moment.
You almost hope that it's all on the player who actually managed to get the boost to save that one, but they do manage to get that one out of harm's way. But a demo on the backboard, good follow-up by Maka there to play that one to the side. And all three players are actually going to their own half here, but Fruity with a nice early turn will play the one into the midfield. All three players there. And I really like the fact that they're kind of waiting on each other's touches in terms of one player gets the save and the next player is there to clear it, as Subsex actually doing a really good job to get that save here. They are doing all they can to try and hold off this Brazil.
That they are, as so Fruity has one lined up, but is unable to get it in. 30 seconds remaining, and it looks like the Brazil will be held off once more. That said, plenty of time to at least get one more point on the board. Ultras doesn't get the next touch. Xenix sees that open-looking net. Will probably play it off that backboard. Oh! It's a miss from Ultras underneath as well, and there you go, giving their opponents a helping hand. Another own goal makes it 6-1.
Yeah, look, new term, new time to talk about it, and that is the OCE own goals. There's got to be one every series. There might have been a few this one, but that one probably one of the plainest ones to see. And look, it's not an OCE series without an own goal like that. 6-1 here, and look, 8 seconds to go. We have got a player AFK here. Might be the one to see the Brazil. Only time will tell. 5 seconds to go. Passing the midfield a little bit too far out of the way. Maka losing connection will send us into the Game 3 win here for Hawker as they take their first series of the tournament.
Yeah, that one I think stings a little bit for the Trinity side right now. They, there were signs, I think, a little ahead of time that, perhaps composure being one of the things, and resiliency being two of the things that I always like to promote with high school esports in general. And I think Trinity kind of let those things get to them a little bit. Things started to look shakier and shakier. Their positioning that looked a lot more solid in game number 2 kind of broke down once again in game number 3. And I feel like there was a bit of a mental boom, as much as I hate to say it. And that happens when you are against super strong teams. This Hawker lineup is going to be one of the best that we see moving forward, I feel. And they are, again, Season 1 champs, just like we saw our Season 2 champs earlier. These are kind of the two teams to beat, because you need to remember, Hawker didn't participate in Season 2. They're kind of coming back to sort of retake a title that they probably feel like they never lost. So it's just a bit unfortunate for Trinity that they had to come up against them on this opening day.
Exactly right, and it is a credit to Hawker. I'm very interested to see how they go. Hopefully, we might even get a later on in playoffs, as they're on different groups. We might even get to see a Hawker versus SMC first team rematch to see who the greater team is. But that being said, Hawker actually, that was their second series of the tournament. They did 3-0 their first one as well, so they are looking good in terms of those standings and looking to take that first or second place. That being said, I think we might be going to Group C next.
No, actually, we are not. I hate to bust your bubble unless something has drastically changed, or unless I'm a little bit poor at reading. Both of these things could be true, but I'm just going to double check right now, because I am fairly certain we're going back to Group C. Yep, you are. Okay. I am poor at reading. Sorry. That's on me. We are going to Group C. You are correct. Yeah. SMCC, though, is making a return. Just it's going to be their third team instead of their first team against LCC. Who knows? How did I get that one wrong?
Look, admittedly, I may have had help in choosing the game, so I might have had some pre-knowledge there. Look, there is 3 SMCC sides in this, so we have got one in every single group. So I'll give you a little bit of leniency on that correction.
No, I'm not. That was terrible. All right, we're throwing to a break. I'm going to get my head screwed back on, and when we return, it's going to be our third and final high school game of the afternoon. You won't want to miss this. More AEL when we come back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's time for our third and final game of this opening week of the High School League Season 3 here at AEL. I am Formal. Still joining me is JR Tins as we get ready for SMCC's third team taking on LCC Who Knows. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because SMCC last season, if I recall, only brought 2 teams to the tournament, but now they have a third team, and this third team has already found a victory, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly right. So they've already found their victory in round number 1. And then the other side of LCC have taken a loss in the first one, but I do want to point out that they are versing one of the hardest teams, in my personal opinion, in the competition. So hopefully they're not too hard on themselves coming off that loss, and we should be in for a good game here. I'm just checking though, and it looks like we might actually have another 2v3 headed our way.
Oh, that could be a little bit interesting. Hoping that's not the case and the player could just be running a little bit late. But if it is another 2v3, we have to kind of, project right now. Who is the team with only 2 members? And B, is that going to have a major effect on the standings in this one?
Possibly. I'm just waiting to kind of find out, trying to do some work to figure out. Depending on the players that we have, we might always see a close match, as we have seen in the past. But that being said, a 2v3 is never an easy feat, especially when I expect a lot of these players to be at that same kind of level and to be competing with each other really well. That being said, one of the standout players to watch for, I believe, is Toby. So hopefully we see Toby playing today, as I believe could be one of the players to watch for this series.
I did see Toby was one of the players in the lobby, so we're definitely still have Toby here for sure, as we are just sort of waiting for players to jump in and get moving. Or sorry, no, I got Toby confused with Tico Logic. My apologies, tease. This has just been one of those days, one of those afternoons, It's week 1. Everyone's kind of feeling it a little bit. I do see players jumping onto the pitch, though, so we will jump to the pitch ourselves. On that blue side will be SMCC. In orange, it's LCC. Who knows? Who knows who's going to win this one? Timer ticking down. We are underway.
Yeah, underway in game number 1 for the last series of the day. Hopefully we are in for a good one here, as there will be looking on the backboard here. Actually might be up for a touch here. Just couldn't get the double touch. Might actually get in the way for the save. The can't quite, just got out of the way, and Clan will be the first one to put one away. So
the team of 3 is going to be the team that strikes first, and they kind of used all 3 of their members, just in the sense that GVW missed it, so it did cost the 3rd member to rotate forward. GVW had that chance, couldn't quite make that contact, but that's okay. The numbers advantage coming in through in spades for SMCC as they get our opening goal. Oh,
and a missed touch in net there. Actually, Choc Munch might have a little bit of time on here, and will be putting that one away.
That was an own goal.
Look, yeah, I was second guessing myself for a second. I think my eyes may have deceived me, but look, they've got it out of the way early, Formal. All right, we've got one out of the way early. There has to be one every single series. We talk about this. It's the OCE way.
It was
got one out nice and early.
Hold up. It was supposed to be every single stream, not every single series. Like, are we just cranking it up? Like, back bigger and better than ever? Even more own goals? Is that the direction we want to go, as Chalk Munchie is going to be able to make it a 3-0 lead? I don't know. Like, I like what is series, but it's getting a bit ridiculous either way. SMCC, 3 goals in our first 30 seconds.
Yeah, look, OCE, we're back bigger and better, term number 3. That's just the way that we're going to go for. GVW already looking to get one, just will miss there, and will be played out into the corner. 30 seconds in, already a huge benefit, but I do want to say that, I do want to say, as we may have seen another one. We meant won a series, not won a game. But that being said, I do want to point out that I really believe that this LCC side is missing one of their better players that I've seen so far, or that I can at least look at with those ranks. So I think that we're not going to be seeing the full potential of this team just here. It's just unfortunate in terms of subs, maybe other commitments might be on. So I definitely reckon LCC are a team to watch with the players that they have in their full lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough sort of mountain to climb, though, when you're already down 2 games after the opening day, in the sense that, like, again, only 2 teams make it out of each group, so they're going to have their work cut out for them and might need a little bit of help moving forward from here. Also, it should be worth noting, too, though, if we get rid of those 2 own goals or maybe throw them the other way, we could have had a tied game. Well, we could have, until Chalk Munchie puts in yet another 5-0 lead. Still not even a minute into a half into game number 1.
Yeah, just really needing to play a bit more conservative on defense. Try not to dive at those balls that are just a little bit too out of reach, and try and really keep it close in that defensive end. Try and not give time on the space, but it is hard in that 2v3. You are a player down, and they do have a few opportunities. We have seen a few own goals, so you do take those away. It is a much closer game, as a double whiff in front of net might lead to another one, but we're okay at moving forward. And one thing I do want to point out though, and look, it's kind of a shame on us because we have not talked about this at all. I want to say the card design collection have looked pretty clean here. We haven't seen something too many outrageous with toppers and antennas and like. Actually been very clean designs moving forward in this turn 3.
Yeah, I actually need to agree on that one. Like, there's nothing that's been stand out to me except for a certain player not repping the AlphaTauri as Chalk Monkey steals that goal away on the goal line. However, yeah, it's been looking pretty good. Not enough dominuses for my liking, just straight up, we'll say that. It seems to be the return of the Octane and the Fenix in spades right now, as even some sort of theme, like the whole Chinese car theme going on in this match as well. I always love it when sort of themes get put together, as we see yet another goal, now 7-0 in favor of this blue side.
Yeah, definitely not taking a break here, trying to get as many on the net as possible, but kind of hard saves here, turning its own goals, but maybe just warming up a little bit. But I do want to agree. I actually am really liking the car selection in terms of the designs. But yeah, we haven't seen too many outrageous cars. We haven't seen like the Rippers making an appearance, or we haven't seen other cars that you don't usually see. Because we talk about professional Rocket League, and we talk about the 3 main cars that everyone seems to use. We've got the Dominus, we've got the Fennec, and we've got the Octane. And they're used at the highest level in Rocket League, let alone in most of the tournaments that we cast as well. So it is interesting to see like none of them come out. Everyone's really gone to the default Octane, and only a few Fenix as well.
Yeah, it has been the case. It's been a lot of Octane, I feel. More so than usual today. Either way, Chalk Munchie gets in yet another goal. I believe that's their 4th of this game, of this series. And, well, we're not even halfway through game number 1 yet. I hope everyone's sort of sitting tight. We occasionally get these matches in Rocket League, and just to kind of throw back to a conversation we had earlier, JR Tins, you were the one who picked this one out.
Look, I'll take the play. I did pick this game out. I got given the choices by the higher ups. What games I'd like to cast today, and I did want to get both the previous winners on stream in week 1, so we can kind of see what they've been working on the off season. And they've been doing pretty well. But look, on paper, I was looking at the ranks, and this should be a close match. But we are getting in a team that is playing with 2 players. They have, on top of that, playing with one of their subs, not even the 2 players from their main roster as well. So, yeah, unfortunate day here for the side of LCC. Hopefully, as you said, it's a tight bracket, and you don't really have room for error in terms of having days like this. They've already taken a 3-0 loss in the earlier round, round number 1. So hopefully they might have enough to get those main players in, make that, I want to say late term push, but we're in week number 1 and it's kind of already looking like that.
Yeah, I mean, at that same token, though, I do want to thank the players of LCC who have shown up and who are playing today, because obviously fielding a team is going to be better than a forfeit situation, and the fact that they're reaching into their subs, they are showing up with what they have, and they're still out here competing, and that in and of itself is very admirable. So I might be joking around, you know, we see the couple of own goals and we have a little bit of a laugh, but at the end of the day, this is a team that's still here, they are still playing, they are still competing, and that is something to be commended.
100%. It's that player's etiquette of like you're filling a roster and you're showing up to not only play your games, which is amazing, but to also give the other team a chance to play with their roster and a chance to play in this tournament. So you're 100% right. It's that I'm trying to think of the terminology. It's not the tip of my tongue. I can't quite get that. But yeah, that almost player etiquette in a way of you show up under all conditions. You try and fill a roster and you do the best that you can. So I 100% agree with you there. That is amazing for this LCC side to show up, play the game, and really give it the role, which they've had. They're looking a lot better. They're getting less goals. I just want to kind of like just take your time in a way and just really let the game kind of come to you. Try and work on those rotations. But on top of that, you're in a 2v3. This is almost a great opportunity to try and work on yourself as an individual player.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I mean, they've been getting a lot of good defense practice, I feel like, in sort of reading 2v1 situations, what do you do when in the box. And to their credit, we've seen improvement from the start in the first half of the game to what we saw at the second half. That rate of goals being scored did die down considerably. However, that's still only game number 1. The question is, can they keep that more defensive momentum moving into games 2 and 3? Can they limit this SMCC assault? It's going to be a tough ask for sure, but hey, that's why we still got to play out these next couple games.
Exactly, you're right. And you can also start to learn a lot more. Like, one thing I always love to talk about in these situations is the huge difference that I find mainly between the 2v2 playlist and the 3v3 playlist, as they are completely different games in a way. In terms of, in 2v2s, you really want to try and not deep rotate in a way, try and stay in the play, always have one member on the play, as well as it's just all about supporting your teammate, and communication, I think, will come in huge for the side of LCC. Whereas 3v3s, you've got that extra play, you can start to go for those more risky backboard reads and things like that that will put you out of position knowing you have that third player. So it is very interesting to kind of see the difference between the 2v2 and the 3v3 playlist.
Yeah, I have to agree, and again, I believe I was more with you, although you're starting to branch away and being more of a fan of the 3v3 scene and player base. But yeah, the skill sets are completely different for each of these as well, and that's how come you see those varieties and those changes. So I'm curious to see how LCC, who knows, is going to be able to play in game number 2, if those adjustments have been made for more of a 2 style. Perhaps if they can force that 2's gameplay against the side of SMCC, that could be massive as well. They're already getting a bit more aggressive with their touches, but Glam is there for the save.
Yeah, and it will be, I really hope that they can start to see that the side of SMC are putting themselves out of position. They're starting to go for very risky plays, wanting to score as many goals, wanting to get a few highlight goals on the board. And that is forcing moments of relapse in their offensive attack and in their defense that LCC can look to start pushing, as a really nice tangible into Musty, actually. Chuck actually putting some great mechanical plays on prowess for us.
That said, look, it's good that he's practicing that Musty is all I'm going to say. There's a Lethal for Life out there who'd be shaking his head like, come on. Because that one almost went off the back wheel and into the crossbar and out. That was close.
Yeah, look, we see another one in there in the midfield. But yeah, I did kind of, my eyes didn't see me there. I thought they might have had a Musty, but I think they used the double jump before making the actual shot, not having the flip for the proper Musty. But that being said, a goal is a goal at the end of the day, and absolutely already got that one on the board. And as I said, it is starting to look a little bit cleaner for the side of LCC. They're just trying to play a little bit more rotational, making sure they're not putting themselves out of position, as GVW might have the silly shot opportunity here, will not be able to put that one away. And yet again, a good 50 going for the counter attack, just off and can't quite put it there. Almost heartbreaking at that point, but that is a really nice attack and what we need to see more often.
That would have been the first goal for LCC in this series, and it would have been a nice equalizer as well. Instead, we are going back that other way. Shot on target, and it will find its way in. UMG gets credit for the goal, bouncing it off Chalk Monkey.
We need, it was a save attempt, but it's almost like we need an own goal counter at this stage.
We do.
Absolutely love it. Great counter attack there, putting that one on target and forcing that awkward save, because yet again, pushing too far up the field on the side of SMC, they have those opportunities. They've just got to choose wisely almost, as GVW now looking to play awkward on the backboard and just getting caught out there from LCC and easily able to put that one away.
Yeah, GVW slow playing this one as well, beats out the one defender and is able to put it in. That right there is an example of one of those goals that probably doesn't happen if your opponents are fielding a full rotation of 3.
Exactly right. You'd have that player in the back post or in front post to be able to stop that attack. But it's that thing of realizing, working with what you've got in a way. And I think, as I said, 2v2 is huge for communication and just kind of understanding that rotation. That being said, both players caught in the front post here, getting another one on the board, this time Clam being on the attacking end. Yeah,
as we see this one again through that corner, and yep, neither can make that read. If you're playing in the 2v3 situation, you can never afford to be grouped up and kind of clumped up like that. Very awkward positioning from LCC, who it looked like they had everything going their way after equalizing this game out. And maybe they can get that mojo back a bit off of a play here. Great read by UMG, and they're back within one.
And that's just perfect opportunity there. Just taking your time, letting the defense make the mistakes, counteracting that chalk, not actually expecting who's going to win that ball in the midfield. And really nice shot on target. 1 goal down, looking a lot stronger in this game so far. And really good to see them just breaking out. I want to see more of that kind of play style where they're playing together, because you really just want to have one person on the ball at all times and the other player playing in that support role, where if you're in a 3v3, as we saw there, you can send as many players as you want. That time it working out for the side of SMCC.
Yeah, Munchie, I should say, sorry, able to get right over the top right there. I'm just thinking like mech monkeying around right now, which, you know, Chalk Munchie has been doing a fair bit. And maybe it requires a little bit of a name change right now. As it stands, either way, still making me hungry as we're seeing yet another attempt. Looked like that was going to be an attempt out of Musty. Doesn't quite come through. Double commit, though, might open up the middle of the field, yet no one is there to press it through.
Yeah, definitely keeping the ball close there is a really nice, one of those chances to take those good opportunities. GVW not quite able to get the angle there, and here we see them pushing out into the corner, just forcing themselves to be a little bit awkward. And it's that kind of, a lot of players have this problem in Rocket League where they feel like their car always has to be moving, and sitting back post is kind of irritating the player because they're not able to move, they're not able to get in the play. But sometimes it's best, you just want to park your car in a position, try and read the play and make sure you're not pushing yourself too far out of position.
Oh my goodness, that was another very close own goal from Techo Logic. Clam doesn't quite get that double. GVW posts it, and now the Chalk Munchie just doesn't go up for the play despite having the boost. And somehow Subway, the ball doesn't find its way into the goal yet. Clam goes for another double and again comes up short.
Absolute crossbar mania right there, just not able to put that one in. And it might have an opportunity here. Techo trying to put that one on. Jebediah actually staying really far back there, really trying to solidify that defense. Maybe make this game not go any longer than it has to, but really nice beat out with the backflip there. One player to beat. Actually, Chalk Munchie is going to play a little bit too far to try and stop that midfield. Yet again, you don't want to give players time on the ball here. Techo Logic actually trying to do it all. And do you reckon this is kind of a strategy that they've communicated with each other and said, all right, look, I'll look to push the ball more up the field. Let's try and deep rotate and try and stop those attacks.
Possibly could be the case right now. And I mean, it has been stopping the attacks, but all it takes is a little bit of that individual oomph, and then Chalk Munchie will find yet another goal. Second hat trick. This time finding it in game 2, as that was a very early pre-flip to get to that second touch, but it does pay out in the end. 5-2 lead for the side of SMCC.
Look, we talk about improvement. We're talking about how the first game turned out. We're definitely seeing that bit of improvement here as well. Managing to get a few goals on the board and keep the opponents to less goals here, as Chalk Munchie might be going for a goal here. Actually getting a flip reset, going for a double flip reset. That's not something I thought I was seeing this level of play. Couldn't quite work it out, but look, we talked about the mech on this player, and if that doesn't demonstrate it enough, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Chalk Munchie might get invited to a freestyle event or two in the near future with plays like that trying to bust out right now. A 6-2 lead, 34 seconds remaining. We're not going to get our Brazil scoreline, but what we are going to get is SMCC advancing to match point as soon as that timer does run down. A match point that they are looking very confident that they should be able to secure in what would be, if it does go their way, a third and final game. I mean, at this stage right now, I feel like SMCC really, this doesn't teach us too much about this team besides, you know, if given space, they can mech it out. And we don't know too much about LCC either because only one player of their starting roster is actually on the field right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is really good. SMC, this definitely will be good for them in the standings, getting 2 wins on day number 1. As I said, I got it wrong earlier when I was talking about this. The one team that I've got my eyes on in this competition is actually in group number C, not in group B. So in this group, there is little room for error. I believe that team is almost a guaranteed first or second. I may be mistaken. Look, if I am mistaken, I will take full blame for this. But in this pool, I think you're really fighting for that almost one spot, so every game really matters. And SMCC, if they can get this win here, get that 3-0, they're setting themselves up for a great position for the future games.
Yeah, well, that's what they're going to be looking to do. Just need to win one more game in this 2v3, and, well, the match will be theirs. When it comes to predicting things, though, you got to be careful, JR Tins. You've got to be careful because I don't know. The predicting game, you can be on top of the world one day, and then it can all go terribly wrong one ODL season later. That's all I'm going to say in regards to that. And so we get ready to go into this next one. Again, congratulations to Dynasty. I'm not letting myself live that one down. I'm going to be my harshest critic on that.
You do see, though, like, as casters, we try and make these predictions. We think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, look, we always are the ones that have to cop the
I put them 20 out of 20.
Yeah, but look, a lot of teams surprised. And also, Dynasty, we're actually one of the teams that didn't make any roster changes as well. So
no, that 20th out of 20 roster. Oh, look, Musty, actually, there's the Musty. Yeah, Musty!
Finally getting that perfect one on target. As I said, Chuck Munchie actually pulling off the mech here. Jebediah just catching a little bit awkward in net. And I think right now, I think this is game 3. I think we're going to start to see the mech really come out from these players. They're going to look for those highlight plays. They're on stream. They've got the space. What can they do for us with their time on stream?
Yeah, I think they're going to have some fun with this one for sure as GVW going to try and clear it out to that corner. Again, it's all eyes on the Chalk Munchie right now, whether or not they can get this player the ball with some space to work with, or if Clam's just going to do it themselves. Late flick in the net, 2-0 lead for SMCC.
Yeah, I think I always talk about keeping the ball close. I think it's one thing in this kind of tournament that we don't see enough, and when we do see it, it really shows off. And I'm seeing it so much from this SMC roster. Look, I would love to see what goes on. You have 3 SMC sides. Surely you're doing scrims. Surely you're working with each other, trying to like improve to really help lift you all. As Techo Logic actually getting one on the board.
Yeah, as we watch this uncontested on the kickoff, and you can go for these, 0-person kickoffs all you like, but someone's got to make the defensive save. 0 for 3, 3 strikes, you're out, 2-1 ball game now.
The great strategy coming out from LCC of just let the defense make the errors. And on a few goals, that's what we've seen so far. We've seen just really sitting there waiting in midfield, letting the side of SMCC start to get a bit too ahead of themselves, get that open net. And it has worked out for them so far, but still 1 goal down. And I just want to touch back on what I'm saying. Do you think that SMCC are just like really scrimming each other, really working with each other, coaching each other and trying to help? Because they're all in different pools, so they're really trying to work each other up? Or is it just a complete backhand, like, don't talk to me, it's my team against your team? Like, I hope we absolutely dominate.
I think, seeing as they're all in different groups, if I'm not mistaken, 100% they should be working together. As another breakaway goal for UMG. As we watch this again, yeah, Chalk Munchie just drove it straight into UMG, who, with 1 touch, throws it back the other way. The middle of the field kind of left open, 2 goals in a row. All of a sudden, LCC, who knows, they're back in this match.
Yeah, it's the faith that MCC have in each other. You see that as that defensive 50-50 happened, that all the second players that were there to try and beat back all pushed up the field.
It's going to break away again.
Win. Ooh. And time after time, they're having those breakaways. And I think SMC really need to kind of start looking back, as it's just dangling in front of net, but couldn't put it away, and now the breakaway from all 3 players.
What's interesting, though, is it's just sending 1 player forward right now. Jebediah has actually been sitting back for each one of these sort of breakaways and just hoping that UMG can make these 1v3 plays off of mistakes while still maintaining some defense. And, well, maybe that's why Jebediah swings and misses when they do push out of the goal. We're not going to see a centered shot just yet. Chalk Munchie looking to play through the corner, tries to set up a teammate in front of the net. Won't be able to find the goal, but Clam has a chance now as well. Double touch off the backboard, middle of the field, shooting opportunity, and no one is there.
Yeah, we'll be 50 in midfield, sending it straight back their way. And still 2-all here. I just want to kind of say it's very interesting to see this kind of play style, but it is working for them. To figure out how they can play well together, but sometimes when you're sitting in net, a demo is going to happen. And finally, SMC kind of working that out. Chalk Munchie can go for those aerial plays, but can also hit players as well as he can hit the ball.
Chalk Munchie is going to be a player to watch, I think, in this event. Because I feel like SMCC is going to be relying a bit on this player in some of these tougher matches as well to step through and make some of those big-time plays that we're seeing here. The fact that we've seen, you know, offensive plays, defensive plays, even supportive plays, all coming from this player is a very promising sign moving forward. So our eyes are now on you, Chalk Munchie. I believe this tournament now has its attention on you. What are you going to be doing with it from this point moving forward? All time will tell, but I'm excited to see what they can do.
Exactly right. You've got the caster calling you out. Now the pressure is on. Hopefully it doesn't end up being a normal cast curse. Hopefully we do see the success in this tournament so far, but trying to see the success here from LCC as opportunities, all three players bundled in net, but couldn't quite put that one away. And now the counter-attack here. Players kind of deciding who will go for it. Finally, Clam will take that one over. Plays into the corner. Jebediah now trying to make that save, but just finding themselves in awkward positions. And GVW reads the perfect kind of, I don't know what you would call that, like it just finds its way up, perfect bounce. I don't know how you read that considering the amount of outcomes when it hits that bottom corner, but really well read there from
Luck is a skill.
SMC.
Luck is a skill. Sometimes when something can't be explained and things seem to work out your way, it's that base level instinct that you get from putting in hour after hour into this game, knowing where the ball is going to go, in what situation, just that understanding, you know, the flow says here's the place to be, and that is just like in-tuned instinct that you didn't even know you have, and that's what I'm going to credit it to right there. Clam with the chance, can't not get to the ball before UMG.
Yeah, really nice clear there from Technological. Now be trying to start that counterattack. Gets the bumper. Will be forced to rotate out. Yet again, more double commits coming in. Jebediah now having a shot opportunity, and actually a good one of that, but it is going to be saved away. They've got the opportunities. They might even have the own goal. All players panicking. Technologic putting that one away, getting themselves in this. Just one goal down, but really nice to see Jebediah push up the field.
Yeah, what a nice passing play by multiple members of SMCC to throw it back. That pinch off the backboard was exactly what UMG wanted, and all of a sudden 40 seconds remaining, a chance to possibly go into overtime right here. LCC, they took a couple games to warm up, but now they are playing for a chance to take us to that overtime. Will they be able to pull it off? I'm still a little bit nervous for their chances right now. They've got one less attack starting now.
Exactly right, and it's going to be a good one playing off the corner, just a missed touch there. But you see Jebediah's waiting in field, waiting for the moment to try and push in. Chooses it, just not as wisely as you would like. Teko will get demoed, and with that, the clock is going to wind down. Teko needs to get back on this ball, but he's going to have zero boost to do so. Will hit that out to the midfield. 4 seconds to go. As soon as this ball touches the ground, their hopes are over. A double commit, 0 seconds, and the ball touches the ground. SMC win in a clean 3-0.
Yeah, the 3-0 sweep for SMCC. Not too surprising considering that it was a 3v2. However, that game 3 definitely made things a lot more interesting. UMG getting themselves that hat trick, and it's just a bit unfortunate that it took a couple of warm-up games for LCC to figure out how to exactly play this matchup.
Yeah, and I do love to see that. And one thing I've literally said from term number 1, I'm going to continue to say it because I kind of see this as that grassroots level play. It's the kind of beginning to these players' Rocket League, I would call careers. And it's amazing to see how well they not only mature as players and also improve as players as the weeks go on, but as the series go on. And we saw an amazing improvement as from game 1 to game 3, they figured out what they needed to do. They really capitalized on their moments. Just as I said, yet unfortunate that they were in a 2v3 situation. Hopefully we can see them coming back stronger in the next few weeks. Yeah,
we'll keep keeping our eyes on both of these teams for sure. But to conclude the day out, a quick little recap of what went down. SMCC took the 3-0 victory over Irfan College from Group A. Then in Group B, it was Hawker College getting the 3-0 over Trinity Bay. And last but not least, in Group C, we saw SMCC third team get the victory over LCC. Who knows? Also, I did a little bit of backtracking in my mind just to clarify some things up. All right, this is more for me than anyone else. The reason why I got the groups confused before is because they were each from round 2 matches. And I was like, oh, Group 2, not putting letters together. So that was on me. But yes, we saw games from Groups A, B, and C. 3 different looks, 2 returning champs, 1 team that could be on that warpath as well, undefeated after day number 1. Tins, where do we go from here?
I'm not too sure, but I think all we do is we go up from here. We've still got plenty of teams to watch here, plenty of teams that are new coming into this season. Hopefully we get to see them on the big stream and get to see what they have to offer to this competition. It seems like every single time we run this tournament every term, we're increasing in numbers. So that just means so many more players that we get to watch and hopefully get to see later, not only in this league, but in other leagues as well. And I'm very excited to what Term 3 of the High School League has to offer.
I'm excited to see where things go from here as well. But when it comes to Rocket League on the day, AEL is not actually done. It's going to be a longer break, about 3 hours or so. But eventually at 7 p.m. Eastern, the unis are going to be kicking things off. So we start in high school, then, we graduate up to university. That's going to be a lot of fun. Fetch will be joining me for those matches. JR Tinsu is joining me here. One last time, a big thank you to our sponsors in ViewSonic, Chatime, AOC, Indomie, and Rig. And until next week, or until later today, I'll see all you guys out there on the pitch. Have a great day, everybody.